Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. Let me make sure. There we go. My microphone is working. It's a late night stream. Yeah, I know it's a later stream. I used to do streams later when I started streaming a lot more last year. I do streams at 9, 10 o'clock. Now I do streams at like 7. Feels like there's an echo. Hey, the big revelation happened today. The shooter's trans partner. And that kind of took the wind out of the sails of the liberals as they tried to argue that this was some groiper, is their most recent argument. And that looks like it's gone kapooey. Guys, it's obviously a late stream. I'm streaming at 11 o'clock. It's a later stream. There's been like 15 people that have mentioned it now. I appreciate that people think I go on dates. It raises my social profile. These people, they always say I go on dates. It's like his partner is trans. Yeah, it's really bad, and they can't even argue it anymore. I haven't even seen liberals argue anything because there's nothing to argue, and they're starting to lose their minds because they're getting fired from all their jobs and stuff, and they're saying, "Well, what about cancel culture? You said you didn't like it." Well, didn't they say cancel culture was good? I don't know. Ben Shapiro taking over Kirk at Turning Point USA. Yeah, but that's really not true. That's really not. I think it's going to be a combination of them. But Kirk was Protestant, so it wouldn't make sense for Shapiro to take over because Shapiro is Jewish. So it's more of a combination, I think, of them. Tomorrow, you should make a video what we know about the shooter, video with sources to help clear this shit up. So much misinformation, it's hard to sort. Is this your first almost midnight stream? Bro, the OGs know. The OGs know I streamed at 1 a.m. once. But yeah, I mean I might but it's like, dude, I feel like I'm screaming into the abyss when I do these updates cuz I know, my fans see it and stuff, but it's like there's so many other videos with so many more views that are, left wing, right wing. It's just like an echo chamber. So the people that I would be trying to reach, I wouldn't actually reach by saying that. It says partner being trans 100% true. Well, it was confirmed by multiple sources, and I think we need to learn more. But this is like was like collaborated with different sources. People are saying yes 100%. Vol's game was close. Dude, that was you give Georgia credit. That was a good game. It's a good game. Two capable offenses. You got to be angry if you're Tennessee, though. Tennessee was up 38-30. Sun uploaded an interview with Neighbor talking about the suspect and the trans furry partner. He thought they were weird and Tyler was wearing a mask in 2025. Well, that's an identifier. That's another identifier. Talked about the Ben Shapiro thing in the politics Discord chat. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's really true. There's because Kirk did so much stuff. It's not like Shapiro can just take over that. That's not. Shapiro has his own show and he kind of runs the Daily Wire, so there's no way he'd be able to do all these public appearances on college campuses. So I don't think that's. I mean, he might do more, but even when he would go to college campuses, I mean, it seemed like he really wasn't going to many. He used to do that in like 2016, 2017. I don't think he really does it a ton anymore. I guess maybe he'll start again. Did the partner turn him in, or was it his dad? It was his dad that turned him in, not his partner. The partner apparently, the transgender is said to be cooperating. Shapiro simply said he would pick up the mic where Charlie left off. That's it. He said nothing about taking over Turning Point USA. Right, and that's more of an honor. That's more of an honor way to speak rather than it's like a figurative thing. I'll pick up the mic to honor Kirk. Did you see Kyle Kalinski's video gloating about the shooter was right wing? Dude, that dude has some of the worst videos. I still remember his video. So you guys know the election, like let's just say it's election night. So exit polls get released at like 6 o'clock or 6:30. So Kyle Kalinski put out a video in between this time. Like let's say the exit polls get released at 6 o'clock and then the votes come in the first few states at 7 o'clock. That's when the polls close. This dude put out a video, probably at like 6:35, gloating over the exit polls and saying that Kamala was going to win. Uploads it before 7 o'clock. And then obviously we know what would happen. But seriously, I don't know if I've seen somebody be that wrong that quickly to where like he makes an emergency reaction video to the exit polls. And by the time people watch it, they're looking up and they're seeing Trump has like fucking 300 electoral votes. It's like the most funniest thing ever. Yeah, and then who bleaches their hair? Like I know kids when they do people bleach their hair? Yeah, when they're like fucking 17 on the swim team. It's like you're fucking 45, dude. Grow up. Vanderbilt beat yeah, South Carolina. South Carolina has looked pretty bad this year, I'll be honest. His worst case scenario was Kamala still winning. Dude, that's and like nothing ever had like it's not like these people they keep their audience. That's the funny thing. His worst case scenario was Kamala. I mean, I don't know how much more wrong you could be. The normies are waking up to the evilness of the left due to them openly celebrating Charlie's murder on social media. You're quite are they? Also, what do you think of Erica's address? By the way, God bless you. Keep up the good work. Thank you, H. Stone. I appreciate it. Yeah, that was a very tearful address, especially talking about the daughter and just trying to explain to her what happened. I mean, it's a complete nightmare. But I thought she did a good job kind of capturing the emotion of it. And I don't know, but I don't know if the normies are waking up. I don't really think so, honestly. Because the problem is, do the normies really take in this type of content on the internet? I feel like a lot of them don't. Because it's not like if you watch Good Morning America, like that's probably the most normie friendly news. Because my mom has that on sometimes. And so I don't think they're going to mention all these liberals are celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. They're not going to mention that. So I don't really think so, man. Isn't that up to Kirk's wife since she is the spouse of Charlie? She technically has some sort type of share in Turning Point. You don't know what's going to happen next. Yeah, I mean, it'll be dependent on the contract situation with Turning Point and what was Kirk's ownership. And then it gets passed on to the wife. But it's also based on probably the contracts that were signed. I mean, Kirk's the founder of Turning Point, so his wife is going to have a significant say. I don't know what the exact contract situation is because some of it, I'm sure, was owned by, a media corp or something, a way to run the actual show that he has, because he has an entire show and an entire network. And so you need investments for that. So do you think his ownership share, was probably pretty significant? And I'm sure his wife has but I don't know what's going to happen with Turning Point in terms of who's going to take over for the actual role of debating kids. You're right, because like Shapiro has Daily Wire. That's a different entity than Turning Point. Turning Point is what Kirk was doing, and then Kirk would bring people on with him. But I don't really see anyone go out without Kirk for a Turning Point event. I mean, he organized smaller student events, but that's why people are saying, well, we don't really know who's going to be the next person up, because it's not like he had an understudy. We got some more donations. A trans radical shoots Kirk right after Kirk mentioning there have been a lot of trans shooters lately. Yeah, did you see the interview Andrew Callahan did with the liberal kid? He said his point. This was the kid that was debating Kirk when he got shot, when Kirk got shot, and he said his point was to try and explain to Kirk that there's not violence, or there's not as much violence on the left as he thinks, and that is the debate in which Kirk was shot. They were debating, and the liberal was trying to tell Kirk that there's not as much violence on the left, and then Kirk was shot during the debate, during the early stages of the debate. That was only the second person he talked to. It was very early on in the event. Did you check out any of Tommy Robinson's rally today? Yeah, that was a very impressive organization of they saying 2 million people. That's insane. They got in the UK 2 million people out to do that in that type of a pro, nationalist rally, pro Britain rally. It's extremely impressive. So the organization skills of and I think the UK and even Starmer, I mean, if Starmer is calling for a halt to the boats coming over and to stop immigration, that's the Labour Party, that's the Liberal Party saying that. So I think there is a turn in the UK, and to see, you wouldn't get 2 million people out for a pro Britain march 3 or 4 years ago. At least I don't think you would. I mean, I don't know the UK situation fully, but it just feels like it's changing in the UK a bit. I mean, they're saying it was 2 million. I know there were initial reports saying it was 110K, but they said that was completely wrong and there was way more. But that's an insane march. And, I mean, when have we had an organized thing like that? I mean, that I was like, wow, that's very impressive. And it was just really just being able to organize something like that. And of course you do it on a Saturday. That's the best time to do it. But I thought that was really impressive. Typhoon, what's up, man? How's your crypto doing? Praying for you, dude. Stay safe out there, man. Have a safe and blessed weekend. Ari, thank you. I appreciate that, Ari. You feel like whoever takes over Turning Point USA is a future issue? Oh, who takes it over? Yeah, I mean, and that's a problem because again, there's no understudy. It's not like there was a young gun they were kind of molding into, because Kirk was only 31. So it's not like anyone would, because I think at some point Kirk was going to run for something in Arizona, governor or senator or something. And so they would probably, massage someone into that role by giving them debates with Kirk, in terms of they would be debating people, and there would be appearances like that. So there was really no one else's that I really saw that would be immediately able. You can't really replace Kirk because Kirk did so many things, and it's not. This is not something we've ever seen before in any of our lifetimes, when with someone this politically acclaimed at such a young age gets assassinated. So you're replacing someone that we really haven't seen be replaced. You're kind of replacing someone that's unreplaceable in terms of the amount of influence at such a young age. So, and especially his connections. I mean, this is a 31-year-old talking to Trump, talking to, it's very rare you get that, to have that high up connections at that age. Do you think the Daily Wire and Turning Point USA made merge? I don't see that as a possibility. It's really a Christianity versus Judaism problem. Have you heard the ridiculous theory that Nick Fuentes ordered the assassination due to Kirk not being alt-right enough? Well, you have to understand that the only reason they're talking about it being a groyper is because when you look at the right wing, that fraction, the groypers, they did not like Kirk. So the liberals think, well, this could be our way in, because there is a fraction of the right that didn't like Kirk, because obviously all the MAGA people like him. I mean, we can talk about Trump and all the stuff that some people talking about with Israel and stuff, but that's more down the line. That's more in the weeds. Nobody really mentions that. But like the top of the line on what liberals look, and they look at the conservative movement and they say, the groypers, they're the ones that say, Nick Fuentes said Charlie Kirk was a fake Christian, and there's all this stuff. The problem is everything based on this kid, it's obvious he was definitely not a groyper, but the only way they can try and justify blaming someone on the right Because obviously, why would any MAGA person do this to Charlie Kirk? MAGA loved Kirk. Kirk loved MAGA. Kirk loved Trump. It makes no sense to blame a MAGA. So they're like, well, the only one left we can blame without blaming ourselves is the Groypers. But obviously, it makes no sense. I mean, in terms of the verb, just in terms of everything that's been reported. Your opinion on the two guys who saw him on the roof and did nothing? They should have alerted someone instead of filming it. Well, you wonder, is that a sniper looking over the event, patrolling the event? I mean, I saw that video and I think they should be interviewed, but the other thing I was thinking, you guys remember the I don't think they were Secret Service. I don't know if it was Trump security or whatever security they had at the Butler rally. Was that sniper ever interviewed? The sniper that ended up killing Crooks? You know, the one that was like zooming in on his scope and then kind of backed up when Crooks shot and then zoomed back in and then killed Crooks. Did that guy ever get interviewed? I don't think he did. Your opinion is that Charlie Kirk is unreplaceable. People are now angry. They need a younger, tougher voice, not Ben Shapiro. Well, yeah, Shapiro, it doesn't even make sense because it's a different entity. The Daily Wire is a different entity than Turning Point. You're right, unless they merge Turning Point and Daily Wire. But again, Kirk was a Protestant. So I don't see why they would merge. And Kirk cared so much about religion, and I don't see them merging together. If they merged, I think it would just be the parent company would be the Daily Wire, and then Turning Point would be the baby company, and Daily Wire would hire talent to go and be the debaters for Turning Point. But I mean, I don't know how the alignment works of the ownership, and I don't know the ownership share of Turning Point, and a lot of it goes to his wife. I'm sure he founded Turning Point at an extremely young age. Do you really think that's the killer? I mean, it definitely fits in terms of looking at the height and the stature on video. So, look, I don't have any reason to believe that it's somebody else, and I would say it probably is. Yes, I mean, as far as I can tell, but obviously I don't have inside knowledge on anything. But just judging from the security cameras and things of that nature. But that's not, I mean, that's really half the battle. What a lot of these people will argue is they'll say, well, somebody paid him to do it, or, he was put up by someone and they're not telling you the truth. They'll say, well, it's really him, but it was a different reason. So no matter what you do when you're talking about this stuff, there's always going to be conspiracies and things of that nature. Mm-hmm. Groypers are the only remaining option the left has left to blame the right. Also, you don't think Groypers are known for being anti-hate? Right, it's a complete miscarriage. But you're right, that's the only thing. So they had to go with it. A lot of it is done to try and muddy the water, but these liberals are completely inconsistent. So many of them cheered the assassination, and they said, well, we didn't do it. But you just cheered it. But the idea is, it's just like with Thomas Crooks, and that worked to a large degree because not many people know that Crooks' classmates came out and said, yeah, this is like a weird liberal Reddit kid, and he was arguing with all this Reddit language. Crooks was a clear left winger, but they were able to muddy the waters with Crooks, and they're like, well, he's a registered Republican, he's right wing. Yeah, because Crooks is right wing, and he hates the leader of the Republican Party, who's been the leader of the Republican Party for the last 10 years in Trump. It makes total sense. Of course, it makes no sense, but they just want to muddy the waters so they can skirt blame. That's basically it. And that's really what it comes down to. And they called this dude a straight white male, and nobody knew if he was straight. Well, it turns out he's dating, and he's got a trans partner. Mm-hmm. MAGA and Fuentes don't get along, but they overplayed their hand when they circulated the Photoshop of him in a MAGA shirt. They forced MAGA to defend Fuentes because they weren't just blaming Nick, they were blaming MAGA too. Well, it's just all of the right in general. And I think it's important, whoever they blame, whatever faction of the right they blame, it's all bullshit. They're lying. They were forced to blame the Groypers because the Groypers were the main ones that were against Kirk on the right wing. So they said, well, this makes sense that they wouldn't like him. But the way in which we know this case, all of the details that have come out, the shell casings and the family and what they've said, it's telltale signs of a Reddit, Discord, uh, communist pipeline, far left, leftist, not liberal leftist, I'll give them that. This is more leftist type verbiage and vocabulary and what he was using. But it's all left wing. And look, whether you defend Fuentes or not, this is just what it is. They're lying their asses off, and it's easy to call it out because it's obvious they're lying. And they just do this again to muddy the waters, and maybe we can just put this up much out there. And I've seen people try and do it, and then I'll call them out on X, and they don't have a response because they'll be like, "Well, he was a groiper," and I'm like, "All right, show some proof." And then they show the pic of like the meme that's not even a groiper meme, and it's like these people have nothing. That's what you realize in talking to them. In your view, who deserved the FBI reward and the additional $1 million pledged by Bill Ackman and others for bringing the case to a resolution? Who deserves the FBI reward and additional... What, you're talking about? Well, it's obviously complicated. I don't have the inside details on what actually cracked the case, but they're saying it was the father. So are you going to give the father the reward? I mean, he's the father of the kid that did it. Apparently, this is one of those dysfunctional family situations where the entire family is conservative and this kid's very liberal, and he probably lashed out, and he probably called his entire family racist right-wingers, and that he doesn't want to talk to them, and he's living with this transgender. This is a typical unfortunate story that we've seen. So, in a way, you can kind of feel for the father if that's what it is. But what is he going to get? I don't know who tipped off the FBI in terms of the amount of details that were given on this kid that solved this. So there's no way I could tell you exactly who should get the reward. I guess based on the facts, the father. The father's the one that they said turned him in, or the minister. That apparently that's who the father took. I don't know. What's with the weird meme messages and the lack of serious manifesto? Is Antifa and non-serious typical? Can't help but speculate about PSYOPs. It's very strange there's no manifesto. Normally, with these type of things, especially when you're talking about Kirk, this is the biggest assassination we've had. So for the biggest assassination we've had since, who knows, MLK, we don't get a manifesto, or at least not yet. It's very surprising. Because that's normally one of the things, that's normally the star of the thing, is to put out a manifesto. This kid would have had time to do it, obviously, because he survived. But normally they time the manifesto to come out right when they're committing the act anyway. So it's strange. When it comes to the messages on the messages are not surprising to me. They're all very leftist, very online, very Reddit, liberal or leftist communist, like one of the younger commie vocabulary. Hey, fascist catch, calling Kirk a fascist, basically insinuating he needs to be shot, shooting a bullet at him, catch, like it's supposed to be funny. The other stuff is like some trans thing with like the bulge in the pants and stuff, and the one about the gay is just like supposed to be edgy, I think. If you read this, you're gay, I think it was. And then the other one was... I think the other one was the biggest smoking gun. I forget what it was, but the messages don't really shock me. I mean, they could have been more serious, I guess, but I mean, this kid's 22. He's very online. He's terminally online, and online space is really... I mean, this is really how this happens. I mean, because normally people, if you're not online, it just can't happen. The mind does not go there. You don't get the reassurance from other people, and obviously I'm online a lot as well. But I'm saying I know how this happens, and as a human, it just doesn't. Without especially for a 22-year-old, it's not going to happen without that asset. Because people were talking about college and stuff like that, and it's not that at all. It's the online aspect of it for sure. That has to be what it is. Left is blaming far right for the school shooting. The one in Colorado. Well, that was a Columbine copycat, and that I don't know the exact numbers in terms. I think it's terrible. Any school shooting is horrible. So, I'd have to look into it. It was I saw the kid about 16 years old. I think Desmond Holly, and it's the same exact attire as Klebold and Harris. So, and it's in Colorado. It's another Columbine, and it just the amount of shootings that have been inspired by that is insane. And this kid's like 16 doing it. You don't think the Groypers hate MAGA? They are kind of pro MAGA themselves. The issue is Israel and the relationship with MAGA. Yeah, well, this is a longer conversation, but it's mainly they think Trump has kind of drifted into Israel and he's become significantly more establishment, and they call MAGA the establishment. But really, Fuentes has his own movement, so he wants a bunch of right wing support, and you're not going to get that by kissing up to Trump, because you're just going to, he doesn't want to be seen as a follower to Trump. He wants to be seen as a leader himself. I mean, I think it's fairly obvious. You can really inference that based on the stuff that he says. He wants to be like a thought leader, basically. And so when you're like defending Trump on everything, you can't really do that. So he's trying to branch out. And also there is some stuff that Trump's done that's been very pro-Israel. And I think Trump's second campaign or second administration, politically, he's moved in a much better way, especially in terms of the cabinet, than the first. But obviously the funding apparatus of this recent campaign was a lot more based on funds that he received. It wasn't self-funded. So, and that's how they're able to say, well, it's Israel who bought the entire thing. You allow them to say that when you get significant funding from Israel or donors that are Jewish. So I think it's unfortunate for Trump. I think Trump is doing a pretty good job right now, honestly. This is a terrible thing that happened, and hopefully Trump, they were like, well, Trump was talking about his ballroom. Okay, come on. Because they asked Trump how he's holding up. He's like, well, we got the new ballroom going in. So they're like, that's insensitive. The trans BF hated conservatives so much that his family cut ties with him. The shooter would get into shooting matches at school for left-wing shouting matches at school for left-wing politics. The shooter got into shouting matches. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me at all. You encountered a unique 9/11 artifact and would like to show you. Where could I send it to you? I do not have X. Keep up the great work. You've got to send it to the Discord. Send it to the Discord. If somebody can put the Discord link. Yeah, we need the Discord link. Put it in the... Or you can send it to me on my email. Send it to me on my email. LOL Superman, weird Mandela effect kind of thing. Wouldn't be surprised if it exists. Yeah, I don't know if it does. I'll ask Trump. Dude, honestly imagine being the president, being like, you could see if it exists. I guess if you're the president, you could actually see if that exists, like literally, because they would have to show you, right? But a lot of that stuff is hidden. The 9/11 stuff, it's Freedom of Information Act. People will do that, and they'll say, well, we want all the footage. There's all these cases that are still being resolved with 9/11. There's a lot of the families that are suing still, and so there's all these cases that are still open. And when people Freedom of Information Act request, they get denied because they say, well, it's still an open investigation, so it's evidence. So we've tried to get the Freedom of Information Act request on the 9/11 footage. They won't allow it because they say there's still open cases and it's active evidence. 24 years later. Did you see the comments of the libs still coping? They are saying him having trans roommate is misinformation. They got to stop. They just got to stop at this point. It's just pathetic. I mean, it was just pure copium yesterday. Now it's gotten even worse with the more we learn about this dude. And so it's total denial. Those cases will never close. And I mean, at this point, it's been over 2 decades, and there'll probably be more cases that get opened up anyways. I mean, there's probably constant cases because of the health issues that are As these people get older, there's going to be health issues. The stuff that they were breathing in was just heinous. Can you run a mile in under 8 minutes? I could certainly run a mile in under 8 minutes. I'm sure I could. Yeah, I know what Kyle Kalinske said. It's just delusion. It's like, is the dude 10 years old? It's just completely false. Obviously, this is a liberal, but again, it's muddying the waters. That's really all they want to do. Do you think the Dems will stop the literally Hitler rhetoric out of fear of backlash? No. Why aren't the liberals praising him as a trans hero instead of pinning him as a righty? Because they don't want any accountability. That's why. Yeah, normally I have water or something. I don't have anything. It's better I don't have to piss, but why the bullet inscription if he wanted to hide the gun? It seems like it was done in a way that was very disheveled. It's very likely he thought maybe there's a chance he could have been killed on campus. Right, you shoot. You don't know what Charlie Kirk has in terms of. Well, actually, maybe he was scoping out in terms of the security that Kirk had, but obviously, look at the Crook situation. Crooks's gun was when he died. It was right with him because they fucking sniped him. So this kid could have thought, well, maybe I'd get sniped. He probably didn't know. I mean, there was obviously not much of a plan with that gun. I don't think he really had a huge plan. That's why I was shocked he got away. All it took was one civilian say, "Hey, there's somebody running. It looks like I heard a gunshot. It looks like they have a gun. They're running that way," and the kid's probably fucked. Because I don't know the exact story on his transportation because he traveled 200 miles from the southwest corner of the state to the middle of the state, which is where the Utah Valley campus is. Did you see the UK protest today? I thought it was really impressive. The turnout was crazy. That would get you. That's gonna get the attention of that country. If you have a turnout of whatever it was, 1 million, 2 million people, it's insane. You're off to Vegas. All right, man. I'll see ya. Enjoy Vegas. I went to Vegas in 2016 when I was younger. When you're that young, it's kind of like a wasted trip, right? But no, it was a fun trip. Any update on Omar from? I don't think there's anything to that. That kind of seems like people keep bringing that up. I don't think there's much to that. I mean, I didn't research it. LSU at 3 is a complete total joke. Yeah, what about that touchdown in the first quarter, the Phantom holding? That was some bullshit. Would he have gotten away if he didn't confess to his dad? There would have had to have been something because this kid wasn't really this wasn't a professional. They would have found some trail on him. He was still living in Utah. I mean, I don't know what his plan was, but if you still live in Utah, you probably at some point he would have gotten caught, I think. But obviously, I mean, the FBI got him simply because of the dad. And then that's what they've admitted to us. And then Patel was like, well, this is record time. We got him in 36 hours, trying to take credit for it. He drove his Challenger to and from campus. That's right, he had a Dodge Challenger. Why didn't the kid just flee to Cuba or something? Because he probably didn't have the money. He didn't have the money, the means. He probably thought he was going to be killed on campus or something. You don't really have, there's not really an escape. When you do something like that, you're ready to die. There's not really a thought of, and especially a kid that's 22. If this is like a seasoned trained assassin, like 43 years old, professional, they probably have a plane. They already have their flight booked, before it's even called. Their flight out of the states. So, I mean, if this was a train one, you probably could have. They probably could have gotten away with it, honestly, because they didn't catch him for 36 hours. If it's a professional, you're not going to find him in 30 after 36 hours. I mean, unless they make a mistake. as much as the whole situation sucks, it might galvanize conservatives to get out and vote in record numbers. Yeah, no, I know what you're saying, and you know, let's allow Charlie to be honored before we talk about that. But um, look, it's a big political thing. This was one of the biggest political figures we have in terms, especially when it comes to getting people out to vote. Charlie Kirk was all about the ground game and registering voters in Arizona. And so to lose that, obviously you can say, well, we need to band together and make sure that in honor, you need to get people out to vote. We like talking to you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Did you see The Rock's daughter talk about Kirk? Dwayne Johnson? No, I didn't see that. He's got a new movie. He's got a new fighting movie. I saw a previews trailer for it. The Valhalla comment was cringe by yeah, it was. I think it's like what they say. It's like a thing that they say within the FBI. Do you think the shooter had help? Well, do you think Crooks had help? Like, this is the thing. I'm guessing they're going to say no. Well, people are saying the roommate, but guys, you have to understand these type of things, the way in which we don't find out much information. Normally, there's a lot of unanswered questions that never get answered. So, the gun, how did he acquire the gun? Obviously, the fact that you've got a trans partner who's very likely to hate Kirk as well, maybe even more than you. So there's definitely questions. You think Robinson had connections? I mean, online possibly. Did you see the illegal who beheaded the guy in Dallas? Yes, that was a horrible video. That's terrible. Biden released him when he was supposed to be deported. It's horrible. Just horrible. And then the liberals think they win that argument because they say, immigrants commit less crime. And then you see something like that. Thoughts on the shooter messaging the trans boyfriend to pick up the gun? Obviously, that would signal a connection. That would signal that the trans boyfriend knew. Unless it was, yeah. I mean, how else would that be? Also, where's the location? Because he traveled 200 miles. So how would the boyfriend be able to pick it up? If I guess it depends on where they live, but did they also go with him? I mean, this is all they're gonna have to really outline a timeline that makes sense here when it comes to them. Yeah, guys, please like the stream. What's your opinion on Thomas Massey? Massey is he's a grifter, and he's been doing this whole anti-Israel thing, but he really hasn't mentioned much stuff about Kirk, and I don't know. You look at his voting history; he's been pro open border. He didn't want to fund Trump's border wall. I did some problems with Massey. It's very uncommon for the public to have even this much info on a murder that isn't even 5 days old. Well, that's not a fair comparison. I mean, 99.9% of murders people don't even know happen because they're localized events. This is obviously involving somebody that is extremely popular. So obviously the public's going to know more about it and it happened on camera. Thoughts on Peter Scully? Terrible. Just terrible. You still think that it's way too specific that right after the question about trans violence, the guy shoots the gun? I don't think so. That dude wasn't involved. Go watch his interview with Andrew Callahan. I don't know, that dude wasn't involved. I mean, obviously it's pretty crazy, but he was also more so about leftist violence and then it happened. So it's like proving Kirk right in a way. Do you think the shooter is similar to Thomas Matthew Crooks in his motives? Well, it is right wing hate. Yeah, in a way, it is. It seems like there's going to be more information about him than Crooks, though. You don't think Crowder will take over Turning Point, but he was one of the first individuals who made campus debates popular. You think he can restart Change My Mind? Maybe that's something he does to honor Kirk. I don't know. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people discussing things like that. You're right. He would do that. And I think his was a lot. His was just like a one on one thing, and it wasn't like there was a crowd around him. So it was a little bit different. But that was also in like the late 2010s. He would do that. And you're right. He has stopped doing that. I don't know. I mean, it would be like an honor thing for Kirk. I think if he did it. Did you see that Trump wants to send the military to Brazil? Conservative former president was just falsely jailed for 30 years. Current administration is liberal. Yeah, Bolsonaro, who's very pro Trump, got jailed for 30 years on a show trial. So I think Trump is going to try and help him. I don't know exactly what he's going to do, though. Why am I saying Fuentes ordering the assassination theories when there's no evidence? And does he even have power to put out orders? Now, you need to get, that's just not, that's not realistic. It's just not realistic at all. I listen at a baseline level. It is true in a way that I mean we can be honest. There are people saying that Fuentes is going to take a lot of Kirk supporters. So there's an inference there, but no, I think that's just cope. It's just cope that oh somebody on the right had to have done it. It wasn't liberals, even though liberals celebrated it. So I thought you liked this, but now because it's all about them skirting accountability. They don't want their party to be accountable. They don't want the liberal or the leftist part of their party to be accountable. Any part of their party to be accountable. A lot of people don't know the "change my mind" meme comes from crowd. That is true, 100%. If you spend time any time around these terminally online leftists, you'll see his writing fits them perfectly. They are deeply immature people. Yeah, 100%. 100%. This is 100% vocabulary from a terminally online leftist. That's a good way to put it. The vocabulary, the words that he used, the rhetorical nature of it, the fact that he called Kirk a fascist. Like this is you know. Are you hoping for the death penalty? These are not quick. With the current due process judicial system, it's very slow when it happens. So I mean, if he does get a death penalty, I'm saying it's going to take multiple years because there's going to be a lot of appeals. Still crazy how Thomas Crooks is still essentially a ghost. Yeah, I've got somebody that went to Butler that wants to do an interview with me, so I want to talk to him and get some perspective on that. But people don't even care about Butler. It's insane. And I understand why. It's like as a human you forget about it because Trump was okay. But it is insane to think about. Sick of the liberals now saying we are seeing violence on both sides. That's their way of diminishing the hate on their side. I don't even care what they say. I mean, a lot of it, they can say whatever they want. The two most prominent, I mean, these are the two most prominent people on the right wing have both been shot at. One of them's been killed. Is that happening at all on the left? Are conservatives out doing that to the top liberal? It's just not happening at all. And it shouldn't happen. But we're saying it's happening to our side. What was Crook's motive? The Trump hate. And Trump was obviously going to be the nominee. And with Crooks, it was something a little bit different. People saying he had help from other countries because he had 3 phones that traced to other countries. There needs to be a better investigation into it. Trump said it was going to happen, but I don't know. There's probably going to be something that comes out before the administration, the term is up. Texas A&M won. Might be time to start giving them respect. Their offense looked very good. They probably had over 600 yards of offense. I mean, I don't know what the final number is, but they had at least over 500 yards. 9 out of 10 people have never heard of Charlie Kirk. Well, it's relative. I mean, in terms of the political world, that just because that doesn't that's not a way to determine it. He's still extremely influential politically. There's a lot of people that haven't heard. A lot of prominent political people that have tons of power. Doesn't mean they're irrelevant. Doesn't mean they don't have power. That's not a proper way to look at it. According to Twitter, Kirk was assassinated by Mossad. Well, I'm not surprised that they would say. I'm not surprised that that's what they say. Yeah, I've seen a lot of that. 100%. 488 yards. I get it wrong a little. I don't know, dude. Marcel Reed had like fucking 300 passing yards in the first half. I don't know how they didn't get at least 500 yards of offense. Kind of sad that 9/11 got overshadowed this year because of this. It barely got mentioned, and the vids on YouTube didn't pop up much in your feed. Oh, 100% it was. But I mean, dude, what can you say? It happened on the 10th. I mean, obviously it's going to get overshadowed. Which NFL team do you think Tyler Robinson would have rooted for? I don't know. I mean, I guess the Broncos. I don't know who people in Utah root for. Rest in peace, Charlie. Christ is King. BPG, thank you for that. Yeah, the TMZ stuff was terrible, and then they lied about it. They had staffers laughing about Kirk's death being announced, and then they said, "Oh, it's because of a car chase." I can't believe they would lie about it like that. They'd lie it straight to the people's faces. That's terrible. Do you think it happening right before 9/11 was a coincidence? Yeah, I think it was a coincidence because, look, you can say there'd be more dialogue surrounding 9/11 this year because of the Israel stuff and people say that, noticing and stuff like that. But the thing is, this was Kirk's first speaking event on his tour. So obviously this kid's from Utah. So he did it whether it was September 10th, September 15th, September 20th. That's when he was going to do it. It's just the data lines like that. Because if Kirk scheduled this on the 15th, there would be no assassination on the 10th. It just depends on when he was scheduling it in Utah. No, I don't have any merch. I don't have any merch. Dude, I don't know what it is, bro. Listen. I understand. People you like Nick Fuentes, but why do I have to see constant comments about all of it's just like Fuentes fanboys. It's not even like we're in relation to anything I'm talking about. I don't understand. So what's the point of you being in the stream? You don't think people realize how deep it is that liberals commemorating Charlie's death? It truly does mean they don't see us as people. And I've tried to explain that to people. It's very bad. You have to dig into the line of thinking. They think it's okay to kill because of civil vocal disagreements, word disagreements, policy disagreements. They think it's okay to kill, and it's justified because they think words are bad enough to where if you say certain words, you should be killed. Like the United Healthcare assassination. They cheered on that. So this is a thing that they have. This is what Charlie Kirk said. He said it's assassination culture on the left. They've got a weird assassination culture. And then he gets assassinated. So this is what people need to see. What is your Discord server link? You're gonna have to get it from someone. I'll have to pin it if somebody puts it in. Somebody put it in previously. Am I really 6'2"? That's misinformation. I was 6'2.5". I might have shrunk a few inches. It's been a long 3 days. It has been a very long 3 days. Have they given an explanation on how the rifle got into the woods? I would imagine he was probably walking and he didn't want to carry it anymore. He didn't know where to put it. I think he didn't have a plan. Because that's typically, it's like, oh, I want to get rid of this and I want to hide it because I don't want people to see that I did this. And maybe if there's DNA on it, it could be a problem. So he's probably worried about all of that. So it was in a garbage can in the woods or something. It was like wrapped up in something. So obviously there was like a half-ass attempt of hiding it that you could tell was not according to plan. You think Tyler will get the death penalty? Well, I think they'll definitely push for it. You have to understand with the judicial system, there's a lot of appeals. It's going to be, if he gets the death penalty, it's going to be years before he gets executed. It's going to be years. I know people want it quick. They want the vengeance, and I get it. But that's just not how our courts work. They're very slow. You can also disassemble a rifle quickly. The problem is the rifle was found assembled. There's a photo of it. But I guess the thought is that maybe it was disassembled when he was sneaking in with it in his right pant leg. I think that's still what the explanation they're saying. So was that video that TMZ released, the house security footage, was that real? Is Nick Fuentes a member of the KKK? No. Kid was an idiot amateur? 100%. 100%. And you could tell that's a panic when you're like, I gotta hide it now. He probably didn't think he was gonna be alive at that point. I mean, trust me, that's probably what's going through your mind. You do something like this. You're not expecting to live that long. Is Fuentes backtracking after Charlie's death? Um, yeah, I mean, wait, are you talking about like him saying that he's a fake Christian and stuff? I think some of it's disingenuous, but I mean, you can not like someone and still not want them killed. But I've seen videos from people on the right that really don't like Fuentes, and they were trying to expose him and stuff like that, and so there's a bunch of infighting, and they were trying to put compilations together. I saw. Why does the video footage pan to the right? Which footage are you talking about? Thoughts on response firings and cries of hypocrisy in both directions? Well, we knew this was going to be ugly because this happened in a smaller scale with the liberals cheered that, and then it was the same thing that happened. So what it is now is, in a way, it's cancel culture with the right canceling the left, because now the right with Musk, there is the power within these bigger accounts. You've got an account like Libs of TikTok that has 5 million followers, and you say, hey, this person said X about Charlie Kirk's death. That person's going to get pummeled, whoever they say, because they have the reach to destroy them with the army of people that follow them. So, I mean, I just think it's part of the internet, and it is insane. And you could seriously really, like, as an individual, it's crazy that people would celebrate something like that. And obviously, if the thing that people have to understand, if you celebrate Charlie Kirk, wherever you want to put him on the political spectrum, because I do think people are being disingenuous with Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was a clear right-wing person. He was not far right, but let's be honest, Charlie Kirk was not a moderate. Because I've seen a lot of right-wing people say Charlie Kirk was a moderate. I think he was a solid right-wing voice. He was not far right, but he's not a moderate. I would just say he's just, you want to say he's establishment or what, he's right-wing. If they think it's okay to kill him, then they obviously think it's okay to kill Trump. They think it's okay to kill Fuentes. They think it's okay to kill Carlson. So this is like, if you're okay with that and you think it's acceptable, I mean, it's a huge issue because you want to wipe an entire party out, a majority party of the country. So I just think it's horrible. He was a moderate for a right winger. That's why people. Well, I mean, I think we're fighting like, oh, as a right winger looking at Charlie Kirk, just let's look at from a field view of the political spectrum. He's a right wing person. He's not moderate right. Like, he's just normal right. I think it is disingenuous to say that he's moderate right, but that obviously doesn't mean you should be killed. But I did want to say that. He's pretty much a vanilla conservative. I think you should watch some of his clips. But obviously, I mean, I'm not saying he's far right or anything like that. But I don't. I mean, I think people look at him and they say, "Oh, he's a vanilla conservative." Fuentes had 175K live views. I know, dude. I got off too early. I wanted to get an update. I needed to get an update on the viewer count. I would have got with you guys. It would have been by the second. I would have got an update on the viewer count change with Rumble, right? What are some moderate rights versus right? Moderate right is a lot of the establishment, like neocon, older conservatives in the Congress. Have you ever been on BitChute or dude? That is a terrible argument. So you're saying extremely right wing circles, Kirk is more of a moderate. That's not the way you look at a political spectrum at all. You're viewing it from a disorient, like a far angle. So obviously you're gonna think he's more moderate, but it's not. It's not how you view a political spectrum. If I gave you a DM on Discord, would you show off an awful X tweet on stream? It was from your coworker. That was the worst celebrity tweet ever. I don't know what are you talking about? So on Kirk, I mean, I can take a look at it on my Discord and see. Just compare Charlie to Trump. Kirk was further right than Trump. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me because he's a lot younger too. Should Blue Sky be banned? I don't think Blue Sky matters. And it's a if you ban Blue Sky, they'll just make a new liberal echo chamber. They'll go to Reddit or whatever. There's always going to be these liberal echo chambers. Candace Owens is saying it's a conspiracy. I'm shocked by that. Holy shit. That's the first time she's ever said that before. Is it okay if I put it? I mean, you can put it anywhere. It doesn't matter, dude. That doesn't matter. I don't give a shit. It was only 4 years from the OKC bomber's conviction to his execution. It could be a lot quicker than 20 to 30 years if they want it to be. Yeah, they were saying it was because it was federal charges with him, so they would have to do something. And you're right. I think they could do something in terms of making this work legally because it was so obvious, the murder and stuff and the graphic nature of it. Candace Owens says Israel did it. Holy shit. That is shocking. Wow. They destroyed Parler for less than Blue Sky. Yeah, but I mean, losing Parler, what is that even? What even was Parler? Was just a right wing echo chamber. You get rid of these echo chambers, these people are just going to go to X. They're going to go to other places. They're not just going to. I feel like you might stymie Blue Sky, but you're just going to force more of these liberals onto other places. What do you think of the worldwide uproar, including the indigenous New Zealanders performing their sacred chant for Charlie? Even South Korea is loud. South Korea has an extremely young male right-wing populace. Extremely. They're way more right-wing than we are in South Korea. It's a gnarly gender split in South Korea. The women in South Korea, that's where feminism began, and they're like extincting their own people. Can you believe that? Look at the birth rates in South Korea. They're basically, it's like below 1.2 or something. It's like 0.5 or something, because that's where feminism started in South Korea. That's where it was founded, they say. Or like that's where the movement is the biggest, like the modern movement. And they're extincting their own people because the women won't have kids. But the men are like plus 30 Republican. It's insane in South Korea. 0.7 birth rate. Yeah. That's fucked. Candace and Ian Carroll have overdosed on Israel pills. Even Fuentes and Ryan Dawson are not blaming Israel. Remember Ian Carroll the day after? He's like, this is a turning point between U.S. and Israel relations. I see what you did there, Ian. Dude, Ian, it's like, at what point does it become cringy? Your voles blew it. Yeah, your voles got crushed. $69, 69 cents, 6,900. You like 6,900 meme coins? No, I appreciate the donation. Giga. Can't be here on here too long, but what do you think of the chances of this being related to George Soros? You know some people that think it was Mossad, but this doesn't have the same type of feel. It seems like a Soros killing. Well, I mean, it depends because Soros has a ton of funding apparatuses, but this is like radicalization online in leftist circles. So, I mean, it depends if Soros has funding in terms of that and influence in terms of that. You never really know. Or you think what directly he was funded this kid and or he had some type of far leftist movement that radicalized him. I mean, it's possible. I don't know exactly what Soros is involved in terms of the further left, because normally it's all with him. It's the funding like by proxy through organizations, and I don't know if that's the way this could be radicalized. It was more like online voluntarily. He was radicalized through different circles. The dirty whale. Wife and I are going to church tomorrow. Rest in peace, Charlie. Yeah. No, they made a mention of that about that, and there was a vigil for Charlie Kirk I saw on his YouTube channel uh, in Arizona at the Turning Point USA headquarters. That was a live stream I saw. It was recommended to me earlier. Why did the kid stay at home instead of trying to flee the country? He obviously had no plan. I don't think he planned on surviving after shooting him. I think he probably thought someone had a gun or there was a sniper that was going to shoot him. Remember, Crooks was killed immediately. So maybe he thought he would just get shot and there was no real plan for him and he just went back home because he didn't know. I mean, a lot of this is kind of what it is with these people. There was not a big plan. I mean, because if you really think you're going to survive, you don't go back to your parents' house and then just stay there for 2 days. Like, obviously, you have time to get away. You get away. They don't know who you are yet. That's your advantage. You don't stay in the same state. Look up BBBB movement. Feminism is worse in South Korea. Yeah, I know it is worse in South Korea. That's why they have their birth rate is 0.772. Well, he did plan ahead to a degree. He obviously planned the shooting. He knew Kirk was going to be there at a certain time. He knew when to go. He knew how to conceal his gun. There was planning in terms of preparation for it. I don't think there was a lot of after planning, expecting to survive. The Israel theory makes sense because Charlie was. Yeah, but dude, you can really do that whataboutism with a lot of different shit. And Kirk still seemed like he was pretty pro-Israel, even though. But the thing is, with Kirk's beliefs on Israel, they had to evolve. Kirk has Turning Point USA. It's the largest youth organization, like political movement. The youth is really anti-Israel. So what is Kirk going to stay a complete shield for Israel? Obviously, he's going to have to evolve his politics a little bit. And yes, I have heard the thing about him possibly going to Trump and trying to plead with him not to bomb Iran, and the donors were not happy about that. And I read a lot of this stuff, so I've seen it. But dude, it's just like there is a lot of forced assigned blame to Israel for everything, and it does get tiring. Utah has lethal injection and firing squads execution. Yeah, well, I mean that's obviously the protocol in terms of if you're gonna execute someone. The response from academic institution kind of surprises me. You got to a private college on a smaller side that isn't exactly conservative, but they have their flags at half. Yeah, that's respectful. Yes, I heard there were some that weren't following it. I don't know exactly. I saw a tweet where some were not following the half staff measures, but yeah. So yesterday, Erica Kirk spoke. I'm sure you guys saw that. That was after I got off. And then there is the. Did you guys see the video that she posted of the casket? Dan Lanning talking about it after his game, the Oregon head coach. This is the UK march. Did he have the gun when he jumped off the roof? Yeah, or else they wouldn't have recovered it. They would have recovered it on the roof if he didn't jump off of the roof with it. Any predictions post interest rate cuts next week? They're going to do 3 cuts within the next 3 meetings. Actually, maybe 2 now because there was higher than expected inflation. Nobody really cares about that stuff right now, but that's what I think. Twitter search engine is so ash. You will look. No, it's Twitter search engine for me is really bad. If you look up on desktop, on mobile it's better. So I don't know if that's everyone. Desktop, which is what I'm on now, it is normally pretty bad. So she posted this.
I love you. I love you. I love you.
Obviously, very, very sad. Mm-hmm. Erica's speech really gets you fired up. She said it. Yeah, it was a very heartfelt speech. And I saw liberals criticizing that. Mm-hmm. It might have been makeup on his hands. When you're dead, you turn purple. 100% it was makeup. His body got drained. They put embalming fluid in his body to preserve it, and then they put makeup. That's the process. Open caskets are creepy. Well, yeah, they have to drain your body and then put embalming fluid. Otherwise, your body will just decompose. You ever see a carcass or a corpse of a, like a bigger animal? The animals, and humans are like this too. You'll puff up with, I think, with fluid. Like it happens quickly if they don't preserve your body. What do you think about the Texas margin 2028? I don't know, man. It's probably gonna. There's no way, like an exact margin, plus 10 maybe. If they didn't put makeup on, his skin would literally be white. That's what a corpse actually looks like. I actually don't think that's. I think his corpse, it would be white because they drained all the blood and put in the fluid, and that's what makes it white. But I don't know the exact process. Can I get a quick shout out on my birthday? Andy, happy birthday. I don't know if it's your birthday or not. Cells are, yeah, the human body is a scary thing. The human body is a scary thing. The way it just, I mean, it's the decomposition. It decomposes just like an animal. It just decomposes like everything else. Other human, we've got to step in and preserve it. That's the only way it gets preserved. Do you know why they blame Israel? Is there any evidence so far? Well, there's circumstantial, very light circumstantial evidence. I'm not gonna do the whole. Kirk was potentially starting to get weary of Israel, and he wanted Trump to not strike Iran. And there was a source from an InfoWars guy that said Charlie Kirk was concerned that Israel would kill him 2 weeks before this assassination, or like a month before it. This is all circumstantial. For all these events, Israel is going to receive some type of blame just because that's the ultimate conspiracy. Newsweek posted her speech in the section is sickening. They have more dislikes than likes as well, which just goes to show you how some outlets have done mass radicalization. Yeah, it is unfortunate, but that's just the reality of the country. It's extremely divided, and it's gonna only get more divided because of this. Unfortunately, this is an event that you would think this brings people together, and he had two kids and a wife, and she's crying, but they say this is then they say she's terrible. So it just gets worse and worse. Are we still doing the ricochet bullshit? Yeah, I was talking about his autopsy, and people were trying to go with it. This was a direct hit. I mean, the ricochet stuff is just. I remember the teleprompter with Trump. So remember the teleprompter. Thoughts on New Jersey possibly go? I mean, it's possible. There's some closer the governor's race. There's close polls. So we'll see. Oklahoma will upset Texas. Honestly, is it really that big of an upset the way Texas has been playing? It's hard to even say it's be that big of an upset. Texas has played terrible. Aren't we seeing a mass shift of people abandoning the left because of the shooting and the left response? No, we're not. Well, actually, I mean, it's too early to tell. I shouldn't say that. It's too early to tell. Exactly. You remember the teleprompter? Thoughts on Arch Manning's career being over? I think he's injured. He's got to be injured. There's no way you're 8 of 22 against UTEP. That can't happen. He's got to be injured or something. You'll be at the Sunday night football game tomorrow in Minnesota. Look for me. You'll be heckling the male cheerleaders. Well, there's no way I'd be able to find you. There's too many people. There's 75,000 people at those games. They released an autopsy report. Who does high-profile cases like these? No, I don't think there's been any autopsy that's come out. I was asking if there was an autopsy, and I said, well, it was for ballistics and things like that. Because people were like, well, why? Because any murder case, there's autopsies. If you thought that, quote, if you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea what you have unleashed across the entire country and this world. Yep, that's a good quote. What do you think about Fuentes, Candace, Parker? Who's Parker? But the Fuentes, Candace stuff, I don't know. I find it a bit odd. It's a weird situation with those two. Raw alerts on X said FBI investigating possible leftist organizations in Utah for involvement. Well, yeah, I'm sure they're going to investigate. We'll see if they uncover anything. Will this demoralize the left this November cycle? Well, it is off year, but there are important elections, sure. And obviously, this is a huge event that happened, so I don't know the exact reaction. A lot of conservatives are angry about the disgusting liberal response to Charlie's killing. How do we think about this? You feel like you're not welcomed in your country? What is a conservative? Yeah, I don't know. I just think this is online people and they're just obsessed with online politics. And so when Kirk got, these are people that obviously are they have very horrible moral values to be celebrating something like that, especially doing it in videos and laughing about it. And it shows just an extreme immaturity. But I don't know about it. I mean, obviously, most people are not like that. I mean, most people are going to say it's terrible. And you're seeing I would say, I'm not going to say the fringe because I do think there is a significant amount of liberals that think he should have been killed, which is, insane, but it is what it is. Charlie's assassination made you think about Trump. There simply is a level of loyalty you have for a man who's so defiant in the face of death, and you think Charlie thought the same. And that's really the thing when it comes to stuff like this. You can say, well, he should have had better security and stuff like that, and an aerial presence. But in terms of going out and going on to campuses and doing rallies and doing speeches, and look at what Trump did. Trump got shot at. He came out with, some glass, and then he just kept doing it. You can't let it deter you. If something happens, something happens, you got to live your life. And the only thing you can really do to deter it is security measures and things of that nature, and hope the guy misses. I mean, look at Trump's security. Trump's got a sniper, bro. Trump had a trained, sniper on the roof. And the fucking 21-year-old, 115-pound kid had 3 clear shots at Trump's head. So. Do we know how Andrew Tate reacted? I think Andrew Tate's put out a bunch of stuff, yeah. Do you think having drone surveillance would possibly stop this from occurring in the future? I mean, obviously, it would have been better if there was drone surveillance, because the drones could have seen the kid running across the roof, and then that would be a potential code red right there, I would imagine, if they were operating properly. I don't know. I think Tate has lost some of his influence when it comes to the online sphere. And it's not, it's just the reality of how the internet works. It moves quickly. Will Fox News interview Tyler Robinson's parents? I mean, I would imagine there's a lot of people trying to interview them. They're probably not doing interviews. Did you see footage of the possible drone flyby? Yeah, I saw that. I mean, we'll have to just wait and see if more stuff comes out. Where should Miami rank after this week? You could argue Miami should be number 1, 100%. I mean, if you just base it off of this year. I mean, but the thing is, Notre Dame now is 0-2. So is that really a big win for Miami? That's where it starts to get annoying. But it's just like Ohio State beating Texas. Now, is Texas not that good? So is that even a big win for Ohio State? So it's like, it's hard. It's early in the season. It's hard to rank teams. You think Milo can make a successful comeback? Unopolis? I don't know. Is he trying to come back? What happened to it? He's back on X. I know that because they let everyone back. But I don't know. It seems when you have a bunch of clout and then you lose it, it's kind of hard to get it back. Early in the season, Ohio State is still the team to beat. Well, I mean, there's a lot of teams that you could say are the team to beat. Like, I, I guess you can keep Ohio State at number 1. I think Ohio State will stay at number 1. I'm just saying, based off of the wins, based off the resume, you could make an argument for other teams. You could make an argument for Georgia, but Georgia struggled against an FCS team in week 2. Everyone blaming everything except Israel. Brother, let me tell you something about my feed. Do you want to be? You're asking me if I want to be your VP when you run in 2040? I don't want to waste time. I'm just kidding, man. No, you've got political aspirations. You're gonna run for president, man. Maybe try a local council position. Democrats know the radical left supporters are bad. Yeah, well, obviously there's a lot of infighting with the Democrats. That's what happens in these off years, especially, and so they're not united. Republicans, to a degree, are not united. It's just the reality, especially online. There's a lot of fighting between liberals and leftists online. Would you do a Lust Media iceberg video? Well, there's probably some good stuff on that for sure. Those iceberg videos are grueling to do. You know, my iceberg 9/11 video. My iceberg 9/11 video finally got views. And there was a lot of work that went into that, so I'm actually appreciative of that getting views. You never know with the algorithm. Who do you want to see in 2028? Um, Preferably Nick Fuentes, but I'll settle for Candace Owens for the president. Yeah, guys, like the stream. Please like the stream. Rates getting cut by 0.5. I don't know. This inflation was a bit up, so I'm not sure if they're going to do the 0.5 cut. I hope they do the 0.5 cut. They need to do at least the 0.5 cut or two, 0.25, two quarter cuts over the next two meetings. Will you run for political office in the future? No. You should do more interviews. Yeah, I'm trying to do another interview soon. I'm gonna be interviewed. Maybe we'll see. Algorithm has been putting 3-year-old videos of yours. No, I think you just watch a lot of my content. That's normally how it works. They'll start recommending old shit. I when I watch a lot, sometimes I watch a decent amount of videos of myself because I am just egotistical. I'm obsessed with myself. No, I'm kidding. But sometimes that happens to me where I get recommended my own videos from 3 years ago. Do you still have some daylight in Hawaii? Is it what is it 7? Of course you're gonna have daylight in Hawaii. It's 7:28 or 7:29. What is it? 5 hours with right now. 5 hours difference in Hawaii. Yeah, it has to be 5 hour difference because Hawaii plays their games at 7 o'clock. It's like midnight when it starts here. Did you slow down the 9/11 stuff because of money? Dude, there's only so many things I can talk about with 9/11. Now, yes, I'm sure I could find more stories and things like that, but also those videos take longer to put together. Have you seen the new Conjuring? Yes, I have. Decent, but the first one's the scariest. It was decent, but it wasn't as scary. I mean, it was more a storyline thing to end off the storyline of Ed and Lorraine and that whole thing, and so it was like a storyline movie. But there was some scary parts to it. It's past midnight. What time do you go to bed? It's like normally 1:30 a.m. is when I go to sleep, or 2 o'clock a.m. Do you know about the 9/11 files? The Biden files, or the ones that they're saying they're going to release under Trump? Have you done 9/11 lost media? Hmm. No, I haven't. I mean, but the problem is that would never be able to be monetized if I did that. It's just not. I've tried to do LOL Superman videos. It just can't be monetized. Minnesota lawmaker was killed by a radical lefty too. That's right. And then they're trying to do a whataboutism on that and say, well, this is Republican violence on liberals. How long does it take you to edit your 9/11 videos down to 9 minutes 11 seconds? Normally, I have to, add more content to make it 9 minutes 11 seconds, but I don't really do that anymore. A lot of the times I can't get it to 9 minutes 11 seconds because nowadays the videos have a tight script and they're a lot more. They're done in a way that's it's just the information rather than lollygagging. You think LOL Superman actually exists? It's hard to say, but I think probably. I mean, there's just simply too many people that say they've seen it. I think there's too many, but I don't know, man. There couldn't have been that many people in that area, in the plaza. Like, how many people realistically are in the plaza? They said, well, two guys went up and filmed it. Taylor, thank you. Three movements I see: a ramp up in political violence, strong message from conservatives upholding values, and zero fear or nothing at all. Yeah, I mean, we'll see with the political violence. I hope there's no more political violence, but I mean, it's now they've shot at Trump, they've shot at Kirk, and so there's going to be a strong reaction to that. We'll just see what it ends up leading to, I guess. Hopefully it's just a galvanized Republican Party. They seems like people want to try and galvanize right now. I don't know how long that'll last. Probably only a few weeks, but remember the chat glazing Alex Clark's legs? That chick she's hot. I mean, but that was ridiculous. That was ridiculous. I had to make a comment about that because it was just too much. It's literally a fucking Tucker Carlson clip. It's the entire chat. This is like a different type. That was like a fucking one. That was the when I had 300 or 400 viewers or whatever. The entire chat. What's LOL Superman? It's a graphic video from 9/11. It's a yeah, just a video from 9/11. Texas A&M top 10 now. They have to be, right? They got to be top 10. That's an impressive road win. That's a good offensive performance. She's crazy on healthy eating and living crazy. What is that? Her fucking bio on her dating profile? That's a bio on a dating profile. Healthy eating and living crazy, huh? Neil, what's up, man? Did you hear about the Dallas motel beheading? I think it's terrible. I saw the video. It's horrible. Where does the left go from here? Um, let me really think about this. This is tough. Oh, I got it. It came to me. I think they're gonna blame Trump. I'm a genius. Is your favorite video you've made or had the enjoyment making? Probably the Texas abandoned mansion. I don't know. No, I'd have to think about that, dude. The thing is like it would be real life stuff, but I just don't do that. So it's hard to really say online. I guess my favorite video was accurately predicting the 2024 election. Probably. What the fuck is the DG is wrong account? That's a hater of mine. Wasn't too wrong on the election. I didn't see a tweet about that. Do you think you're completely desensitized to graphic shit since you've appeared to watch so much of it? No, I don't think you're ever totally desensitized. No, I don't think I'm desensitized. I think when I see something nasty, I think it's nasty. I think you build up a stronger palate, but that doesn't mean I don't think I've viewed enough to really. There's people that are so fuck. I mean, there's sites that are just, and they got rid of the subreddits that were really bad, and that's good. There were subreddits that were so bad, and it's like there's kids on it, and it's like this is really bad for this development. This is a problem, and even Reddit got rid of them because it was so bad. Gore subreddits. What movie is scarier, Conjuring or The Grudge? I'd say Conjuring. It's been really hard last couple of days. Yeah, it has been 100%. You've seen some horrific shit on Reddit. Yeah, Reddit, it just doesn't police any of that. You know, it's anons on there too, anonymous people posting, so a lot more crazy shit gets on there. Kind of messed up they allowed the shooting on the web in the well that's just a byproduct of it being a public event. I mean, if this was something that was behind closed doors, and I think it would be completely different. X Twitter is where you've seen the worst shit? No. No way. No, but there's actual sites where it'd be like gory sites, things like that. It's just and they ban it. It's just bad. Just like people dying and things like that. It's terrible. A lot of 9/11 videos and jumpers were scrubbed by YouTube. Well, there was a massive purge by YouTube when they were rebranding into, you know, because YouTube made a massive shift. When you originally got, and this happened to me, when I originally got my iPod Touch 4th generation, YouTube was a built-in app. You know, when you get an app, like it was built into the phone, YouTube. And so there was no ads. There was no ads on the original YouTube on the iPhone. It was just like, you know how all the apps like weather and all the other apps, the apps that you couldn't delete. I think you can delete, I should know this, but I think you can delete every app now. But when the old iPhones, like you couldn't delete certain apps. And so YouTube, you know, it had like the old fashioned television icon. That was its app icon. And they didn't have ads. So then YouTube wanted to add all these ads and stuff. So in 2014, they had to purge a bunch of their gore videos and the risky videos that were bad for ads and the brands and things like that. So then they purged so many videos in, I think 2014 is what the stuff that I was reading on Reddit. And so that's why we really can't find, or there's a lot of lost media regarding 9/11. The Minnesota killer is not clear cut at all. He said Tim Waltz made me do it, and the congresswoman he killed voted against abortion. It's confusing. Yeah, I know it is. It's like a both side thing. I don't know. It seems like just a mentally disturbed person. There's still some crazy 9/11 videos on YouTube. Yeah, they're in playlists mainly. They're hidden in playlists. YouTube used to be so moderate in traffic that there was a main feed that showed every video site wide getting uploaded. Yeah, but that had to have been like 2007. The Ukrainian girl death was genuinely so sad because after she got stabbed, she looked around knowing no one would help her comfort her. Then she passed. Yeah, that it kept getting worse and worse. When they released the longer video. You know, has anyone seen the full long video of that? You wouldn't believe it. You know what the black dude says? He says she called me the N word. So and isn't that a common thing they say? Well, and so that's justification, but obviously she didn't because we see the video. But I just thought it was funny that in the elongated version of it, after he kills her, he says she called me the N word. Look up childish dad. I don't know what that is, mom. Yeah, but it was after he says I got the white girl. It was after. She didn't say shit. I know because it's on video. But that's a common thing they say to try and get out of the violence. Well, it's justified because they called me a word. You still don't think there's anything sus behind what they're reporting? I don't know. Well, I think everyone wants there to be a conspiracy, so they're gonna say it's a suspect no matter what they report. Do you have updates? When is Charlie's funeral? I don't know. I asked about that yesterday. They said maybe next weekend. I'm not sure. 21st, next Sunday. Family members said they told him he thought Irina was reading his mind. He's come on. Yeah, we're gonna get fucking hundreds of thousands of dollars in tax money spent on his legal defense to try and prove he's insane. That'll be fucking amazing. I love due process. No, but that's what it is. Look it up on YouTube, but I don't know what that is, man. Honestly, I'd have to look it up and verify it. They'll use insanity defense. Are, are they expecting like a lot of people to in the funeral because it's going to be held at the Cardinals NFL state? Obviously, they're expecting a ton of people. If it's being held at a stadium. What do you think, Candace suggesting conspiracy question mark? It shocks me that she would suggest that. That's very unlike her. That's really out of character. Wonder what Charlie told her. What did she speak to him last or something? Is Trump going to be there? I saw Trump and Rubio were going. That was confirmed. What does the murder mean for 2028 election? I don't know. I mean, you could say it's a rallying cry, but obviously that's over 3 years away. But you can use it just in terms of the political tenacity of Kirk, and it can be used as a rally cry. I mean, we'll see. Should the judges that let him out 14 times be charged with something? Well, I'd have to see the exact the exact ways he was let out and things like that for the crimes, stuff like that. But I think the judges, I mean, there's been so many cases. I don't know if his is a direct case, but there's so many cases where people get let out early and then they commit a violent crime after, in the period in which they would still be in jail. So that's one where you can verifiably, charge the judges depending on the individual. Who's your favorite Cleveland Browns player? I don't know, honestly. We really don't have a quarterback. I guess maybe Flacco, maybe Miles Garrett. Dude, but Miles Garrett had the incident with Mason Rudolph. I don't know. Stadium holds 50K to 100K people. Well, it depends. No, that stadium probably holds about 70K, but if you include floor seating, meaning within the field, probably more than that. So I don't know exactly how they're going to do the configuration of the seating. They could add extended seating to that stadium. I'm not sure exactly what they're going to do in terms of that with the attendance. Who's your favorite bread and circuses wonder? Well, I'm sure you've done a ton probably politically to affect serious change, and but it's like all these people that hate on sports, like, dude, I've got a YouTube channel with like 300K subscribers, and obviously there's at least been a little bit of impact. So I'm just sick of seeing it. Have you been to Cedar Point or the Great Wolf Lodge in Cincinnati? No, I've never been to the Great Wolf Lodge. I have been to Cedar Point. Did you see the Browns Bengals game last weekend? Browns kicker bit. Yeah, I saw it. It's not surprising. Just went to Cedar last month. Yeah, Cedar Point has some of the best coasters in the world. They've gotten probably two new coasters since the last three new coasters if you count the Top Thrill Dragster redo that they did. Thoughts on Judkins? Well, I don't know. He had a weird case. I mean, obviously there was some type of payment, I think, or something. I don't know. I think he's playing this week. Mateer for Heisman? I don't think so, man. Honestly, I don't think he's not going to put up the stats. But I mean, he is their only player, so if he carries them to like a 10-2 record, it's possible. Yeah, they don't have the receivers for him to put up the stats. With how chaotic and devolved society is right now, you don't have an interest in sports. You're barely following college football. Yeah, I'm still following college football. I've lost a lot of interest in the NFL as I've gotten older. I lost full interest in the NBA. I lost a lot of interest in MLB. MLB has good playoffs, but it always is the same teams, I feel like, because just the Dodgers and fucking the Phillies and the Yankees and the Astros. I mean, I could name the teams that are going to be there. Although this year, I guess the Astros are worse. You've had at least three moderate friends admit they're moving to the right. Well, I mean, we'll see if that lasts. I mean, it's very raw right now from this death, so maybe it will, but the missed holding at the end of the Notre Dame game was ridiculous. I didn't see it. You've gotten more into NFL than college football. I'm the opposite. I gotten more into college football. I don't really watch the NFL a ton. I mean, it is only one day a week, but I just man, 1 point win. Damn, Notre Dame. You lost interest in the WNBA after they did your girl Brittany Griner dirty. They got her out. They prison swapped her. What are you talking about? They did her dirty, or did she get released or something? Who is more pressure to be good, Bronny or Arch Manning? Probably Arch Manning. I mean, nobody thought Bronny was going to be that good. He was picked in the second round. Do you have any updates? Well, the updates is the funeral is next Sunday. The partner of the killer is trans. What's up? You like late night streams? What are your thoughts on NIL and transfer portal and college? I think it's terrible. I think NIL and transfer portal is horrible. I mean, but this is the player empowerment. This is, the capitalist aspect of it. So it's almost like it was inevitable. And you try and preserve as much of the magic of college football as possible. But yeah, I think this player movement where it's every year they go to a different team, I think it's bad. I think it's really, really bad. And I understand that the coaches leave and they don't honor their contracts, and so the players shouldn't have to. But and the NIL stuff is horrible because it's all done through manipulated deals with. The thing is they've got like this budget now. They just implemented this where it's like you get 20 million to spend on all of your athletic sports. So you could divvy that up, all 20 million on football recruiting, or 10 million on football, 10 million on basketball, or 10 million, 5 million on rest. Like, you can divvy up your NIL, but that's not how the deals are done. The deals are facilitated through rich donors. And so even though they have a salary cap or whatever it is, it's circumvented. And the donors end up giving the kids money through NIL, although it's bullshit. Like, they get money for their name, image, likeness, when in reality the donors are just giving them money to make sure they go to their school in like a multi-year package and things like that. So I think it's bad. You should really do more late night streams. I know, but it's like you know, early people are gonna probably not in, and then late. It depends when I get more views, I guess. I mean, I think you get the most amount of views at 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific. That's what I think, because that's when they start the big time events normally. I mean, on the weekends you can do views later. You wonder what Michigan's biggest fan guy went. Haven't seen him in the chat. Oh, I saw him today. Yeah, he's in. He was in here today, or earlier, I should say. Not like an hour ago. He was in. You were excited for Cash, but now absolutely hate him. Cash has struggled a bit. That's fair to say. Dude, I lost. I had this eye appointment at 9:20, and I fucking forgot about it. I had to reschedule it. I've got this. I'm 20. I'm gonna be 26 years old, so I got to get off of my mom's insurance. My mom's got great benefits. It's insane. So I'm trying to get insurance now, and you got to go shop and find the best one with the premium. This is it's terrible. This is what's gonna happen to me. So I have to pay, very likely, if I want to get decent insurance, a $400 premium, so $400 a month, and I'm gonna get worse insurance than I have currently. So I'm not paying for any insurance right now, but I'm gonna start paying for insurance in October, $400 a month, and my coverage is gonna be worse than it is now because I have to leave my mother's benefits. And so I'm pissed off about it, man. But I got to go to somebody. I got to talk to a human because I'm getting screwed. I input all my stuff, and they said, well, I said, well, I don't want a fucking $10,000 deductible. It's like I don't even have insurance. What does a 10,000 deductible do? If I have a fucking broken bone, that's not going to run, like, they're not going to help me at all. So I have to spend $10,000 for them to actually cover me? Fuck that. So I'm trying to get a $500 deductible. So if I want a $500 deductible, it costs me like $400 a month. They say, well, you make too much. You don't get any benefits. This is how much it costs. $400 a month gets you basic insurance. $400, no, I think 200 a month would be basic. $400 is a decent package, or 450. We have the best healthcare and such a fucked up system. No, I 100%, the healthcare is just amazing in the United States, but you have to have insurance. If you don't have insurance, you will be scared to go to the hospital. That's just the reality. If you go to the hospital, if you go to the ER, minimum you're spending $1,000 or maybe 900 minimum. So that's how it is in the United States. Now it is, if you have good insurance, healthcare is great. Insurance is a fucking scam. Yeah, it's like now. So I'm not paying anything for insurance, for health insurance. So now I'm gonna start paying $400 a month, and I get worse, and I get worse coverage. Now I'm getting worse coverage, but at least I'll have a $500 deductible. So they're gonna have to kick in. So if I have something happen, they're gonna have to kick in because it's gonna be over $500. Because anything in fucking health, U.S. healthcare is gonna be over $500. So I just hope. But we have a family doctor. We have like a family private practice thing, and I still go to that. But yeah, like this other shit. Like if I go to the hospital, it's fucking Alex Clark Rater 0 to 10. I don't know. I'd have to take a look. She'd be like a 7.5. Even if you hit the lottery, you state your job benefits are amazing. Yeah, no, 100%. They penalize you. Self-employed people get penalized. You can get around some of it, but that's certainly a way. But I haven't even had eye insurance or fucking eye or fucking mouth and teeth insurance, tooth insurance, whatever, fucking dental insurance. That's what it is. I haven't had dental insurance in a while because, and then I have to pay out of pocket. It's terrible because I was off of that at 23. They take you off of that. So why is it different? Well, I have poor eyesight. I have a contact. My left eye is 7.5. My right eye is 7.0 or something. No, my right eye is 7.5. My left eye is 7.0. That's the number of the contact that I wear. Broke my collarbone on a long in a week long window and didn't have insurance back in the day. Thank God you didn't need surgery, but was scared financially. Yeah, you would have paid thousands for sure. You would have paid thousands. That's why you have to have it. That's why I'm setting up a meeting with a and to see what my options are because I think it's just ridiculous, but I have to get it. So I have to get it. I already paid to be in this private group for taxes to be protected. I have people do my taxes. I tell them. And I had a situation. I got to set up this thing, and it's like, fuck me. Can these people just do it for me? I got to sign into 7 different things. All these things have two-factor authentication. You have to put in the two-factor. So they text you. It's like 7 different things. So I'm on one of the things. Then it signs me out because you've been inactive for too long. Then I have to sign back in. Then I have to re-enter the two-factor. Then I have to get another text. I had like 7 text messages. They're all two-factor from different things, from different websites. Because I'm trying to balance all of this and do and do the self-employment bullshit. Your premium is $25 a month. Bullshit. That's a hell of a coverage. My premium, hopefully the yearly premium's like 500. If it is a monthly premium of 500, I get shitty insurance. What do I gonna have to pay $700 a month to get decent insurance? It's based off a benefit, based off of your job. You have an S corp and your tax guys. Yeah, so do I. Is a wizard. He writes everything off. That's bull. You don't write everything off, dude. You're allowed to write off like fucking. I never understood writing shit off. Like, what do you even write off? They're like, well, you can write this off, but it's only like 30% of the fucking purchase, so it's not even that much. I don't even know what I wrote off in 2024. I try and pay quarterly now. I have to pay the second quarter, third quarter. It's a lot. But it's an estimate. It's an estimate based off their earnings. Mm-hmm. 25 a month, that would get you a band-aid. No, he was what was he saying? He was saying he had his premium is $25 a month. So his coverage only costs $25. What's your deductible? I don't even have a do I have a deductible? I mean, it depends on what I get. Some of the stuff is like it's what it is a copay. You get like a $15, $25 copay, things like that. Um, but the benefits are just amazing what I'm on now. Boy, why are these? Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm on my mom's plan. That's what happens in the United States because healthcare. If your mom has a good job, you have to stay on her plan. I mean, that's what it is. You can tax deduct the premiums as self-employment. Hmm. I'm gonna have to talk to my tax people about that because I'm gonna have to start. This is stuff that if I have to pay, this is gonna be 500, 450, $500 a month probably for this. I'm already paying $600 a month for my tax people. I'm gonna have to talk to my tax people. You don't even know what write-offs are. Write-offs are overrated as fuck. You barely write anything off. People always talk about it. It's overrated. Trust me, when you do taxes, you'll realize it's boomers that like, oh, you write off everything. No, you don't. You can only stay under parents' coverage to 23. No, that's not true. That's absolutely not true. That's dental coverage. That's dental and eye coverage. Your dad was in the hospital for 4 months with COVID, and they billed his insurance company 1.2 million. We didn't pay a dime. Yeah, good job, health. Yeah, but that's insane. So who pays the 1.2 million? Where does this money come from? 1.2 million for a 4 month stay because of COVID? Oh, dude. $1.2 million for living for 4 months in a hospital. I mean, obviously you're getting treated and things like, but that's just it's just insane. Yeah, it is 26. Obviously, I know it. Why do you think I said 26? Your eyes are 5.5, and my eyes are 7.570. I'm going to get it checked. It'll probably still be 7.570. My eyes haven't changed. I'm not getting LASIK though. That's bad news. You get LASIK. It's There's people that have been blinded. It's Why not just get the cheapest coverage? Also, you work from home, no risk of breaking a bone. Um, well, this is the way I think about it. I think, especially with the ER stuff like that, you don't want to be in a position to where you're like, well, I don't feel good, but if I go to the hospital, I'm going to bankrupt myself, so I'm not going to go. I never want to be in a position like that, so I want to be covered. I think it's just a personal preference of everyone, and I can afford to pay more money for it. Honestly, you're not even talking about Kirk. Well, I did talk about it. I mean, it's 1 a.m. What do you want me to say? You wrote off rent payments, car registration, internet for remote work, wife's cooking and scrubs. It's not a lot, not a lot, but it adds up. Do you have a second job? If you did, what is it? Um, I no, honestly, I don't have a second job outside of investments. I do have a lot of money in investments, that's true, but no, I don't really have a second job, honestly, man. I would never get a second job at this point. Wait, so in the US, the more you make, the higher the premium. Right, right. Depends on your income bracket. They have you estimate income. How come these transgender people have been doing terror attacks recently? It is a picking up, and it's a lot of the shootings, and now in relation to this, the partner is transgender. I mean, it's just there's more people that are trans now. That's one of the things, and also they're lashing out. And also, I think it is a big mental it's a big mental aspect of it. These people are obviously not well. Do you think you could become a big political donor? No, I'm not. I'm not going to become a big political donor unless no. Are you surprised the funeral's at State Farm Stadium? Not really. I mean, it's he was a monumental figure, so it's going to be at a area in which has there's going to be a lot of people that go. A lot of your liberal friends saying he was a groiper. Yeah, it's a little psyop. They better have lots of security. It worries you, right? Yeah, that may be. I'm sure they're gonna have top of the line security for sure. Who's winning the World Series? Oh man, I saw the Mariners the last time. I don't even think the Mariners are gonna make the playoffs, are they? I don't know. Hopefully somebody, maybe not the Dodgers. I'll say the most fucking casual answer ever. Anyone but the Dodgers. Fuentes had 175K. I didn't know that. Tell me more. I watch sports. It's like a female answer. Anyone but the Dodgers. It's like the fucking ultimate female answer. Are you a Browns fan? Yeah. We're actually decent. People think we're bad. We should have beat the Bengals. Top NFL pick tomorrow. Let me give one for you to fire up. Dude, somebody was like, dude, you got this wrong because I tweeted out a pick and it was or two different picks and they were wrong today because it was bullshit, dude. I don't know why Ohio State. How does Ohio State kick 3 field goals on the red zone? That's crazy, man. Let me go to the NFL. I'll give you one really quickly. Baltimore minus 11 at now. Bengals minus 3.5. Dude, the NFL is brutal to bet on. I'm sorry. Bills minus 5.5. I go San Francisco minus. I'll go San Francisco minus 2.5. I think. Fuck the NFL. The NFL is brutal. Surprised Charlie Kirk didn't have way more security for his events. No, I agree. I mean, he had like 6, he did have, relative to other people, of course, he did have pretty heavy security, but the problem is, it's just no aerial presence, and it's one of those things to where I'm sure at most of his events, there's probably not that type of roof setup to where it was like there was multiple different level, layered roofs all around, and so it was like the perfect storm in terms of Maybe that was one of the ones that should have had some type of aerial presence with a drone or something. Obviously, we would have helped. No, I consider myself a pretty healthy person. I would say I'm pretty healthy. Compared to most Americans, I'm pretty healthy. That's not a big standard, obviously, with our health, the amount of obesity in the country, things like that. But I would say I'm decently healthy. I don't go to the doctor very much. Thoughts on Josh Allen MVP run? He already has an MVP. Maybe he'll win another one. I mean, after week one, do you think most of these events will be held indoors now? I don't know. I mean, Charlie did something very unique. Who else was going around campus like the different campuses and talking in front of that many people? He did. I mean, obviously political rallies are like that, but that happens like once every 4 years in terms, the major ones that get notoriety. So he did something very unique. I don't know. I mean, there's going to be more security, I'm sure. There's going to be different measures. What's Trump's health plan? Unlimited health care, LMAO. Yeah, obviously Trump's on. He can get whatever health, whatever he needs. He's gonna get because he's the president, because he's a multi-billionaire. That's just how it is. But that's how it is for any president, I'm sure. I remember Obama whining about something, saying they had to pay for their own food or something. I don't know what that was or something. I don't know how that works. Truck drivers have to pass a medical exam. Remember that the next time you see there's a 500-pound truck driver, he's considered fit enough. I wonder what the exam is, though. They probably need truck drivers. They're probably desperate for anyone. I mean, look at the amount of Indians that come over and they're truck drivers. Thoughts on Trump's face drooping? What his like the amount of face fat and it sags? It's because of how old he is. Trump. We got to make sure Trump is all right because people have been talking about with health problems, and the left has said he has big health problems, and with Kirk being gone, Trump has got to be all right. He's got to pull. I think he's fine, but he is aging. There's no doubt about it, and there is a lot of makeup. There's a lot of makeup that's done to help Trump out, and that's just how it is, and that's how it's been for years. Who's your healthcare medical mutual? Bro is 80, dudes here be 24 and fat AF. Yeah, that is true. You love Trump, but also trust JD. Yep. You like Chipotle? Chipotle's fine. Chipotle's decent. Um, I don't have it as much recently. I have it sometimes. You're more worried someone will try and take out JD. He must be protected. Well, he's the vice president. He's got the Secret Service detail, I'm sure. I mean, these are all people that are going to be heavily protected. Obviously, if something happens to them, it's be a huge lapse in security. And Trump's got good genes, 80, and eating fast food and still kicking. And yeah, he works a ton for being as old as he is, and so it is impressive. Do you like coffee? I used to drink just iced coffee with vanilla flavoring, and just I can't do the caffeine anymore. I can do small dosages of caffeine, but there's like a problem neurologically if I have like 200 milligrams or 300 milligrams of caffeine. Like I'd never be able to drink a Monster anymore. I can't have iced coffee is like 200 or 300 milligrams. If you get like a tall or a grande or something, I don't know. The tall is the large, right? Chat is the perfect size. You can respond to most comments. No, tall is small. Tall is the smallest. Grande is medium. Venti is medium or large. Venti is large. Who controls more of the military, Trump or Dems? The executive branch. Trump controls more. Yeah, I have heard of that. Trenta? No, I've heard of that. That's like 600 milligrams of caffeine, probably. That's the X large, the XL. Rather marry an illegal or a leftist? Well, an illegal is a threat of getting deported. Depends if they're moderate left or not. I mean, a lot of times the women adopt the man's politics, anyways. Who do you think wins Virginia governor's liberal? Too liberal. What do you make of Tim Pool misreporting Charlie Kirk was in stable condition? Gives a weird feeling you don't want to watch. I have no clue what happened there. I have zero clue. Everybody saw that video, and when he came out with that report, people are wondering, well, is that certain medical terminology? I don't think that's proper medical terminology. I don't think at any point he was in stable condition. I mean, stable relative to what? I mean, because you don't know, because we don't know the full medical. Maybe he's stable but critical. Or is that even a thing? False hope, but I mean, it's more so he gave it as a report. It wasn't like he was hoping he was in stable condition. He said he was unstable. He was dead right there. No, he wasn't. They would have reported him dead on arrival at hospital. They didn't. Why would they do blood transfusions? I don't know. They're gonna have to come out with an official report on all of it, and we'll see. I mean, I don't exactly know. You need someone with special. Yeah, no, I have heard that special certifications to declare someone's death. Are you getting the 17th Pro or Air? I need to get a new iPhone at some point because I want the larger phone because this screen is too small. I got the smaller one by accident. I think I have the 14 or the 15. I don't remember the 14, something like that. I'll get the newer one or do a trade in or something. They're all the same now, man. They really have no creativity, these phones. There's not even a crazy update. Now they've got it to where the fucking camera is like an inch. You know, they released it. People were angry about the camera. It doesn't matter though because I've got a pretty nice case. But if you've got a case, it doesn't really matter. Tim said he did get the report from someone who works at Turning Point. Yeah, I don't know, man. It seemed pretty crazy. Quote, I do not debate liberals. They hate themselves and want to destroy the world. That's what Andrew Tate said recently. 17th Pro Max is the best battery on the market according to EU regulations. Well, obviously they're gonna have to have better batteries every phone. They make the phones a little bit better every time. They just bump them up a little bit. Andrew Tate quote in the big 2025, Ryan. You don't like Bitcoin Solana phone? They don't have a Bitcoin phone. They have a Solana phone. You partook in that. You bought the Solana phone. The Solana phone too. Get a 17 Max. I could record vlogs with this. The iPhone camera is amazing. Even the 14, the 15, the camera's great. Going back a while, the cameras have been really potent. They've been really good on the iPhone. You gonna do a stream tomorrow on Sunday? I don't know. I wasn't gonna stream today, and then I did, so I don't know if I'll stream tomorrow. Actually, that's gonna do it, guys. It's getting really late. I'm gonna stop. Trump Mobile. Of course, I remember it. I pre-ordered it. Yes. Rest in peace to Charlie Kirk. All right, guys. I will see you later.